So I was 12 the first time that I actually walked inside a huge, giant, enormous shopping mall. I was with my sister. And yes, I was 12. And for each one of you guys who grew up in Malaysia, it might sound very, very weird. It's full of shopping malls, right? But I was born in a super-duper tiny village of 3,000 people in the middle of nowhere in the countryside of Italy. And we don't get to see many shopping malls, I can assure you. So I was on my first trip outside the village with my mom and my sister. And I remember thinking, having only one thought. I was walking in shock inside the shopping mall, looking at all these things to buy. And the only thought was that I wanted everything. And it didn't take long to realize that it wasn't only about clothes. I'm a woman, yes, but I realized I really wanted more ideas. I wanted more friends. I wanted to make more impact in the world. I wanted to have more money and more freedom, and so on and so forth. And it didn't take long to realize that I and my sister were not the only one feeling so restless. Think about the last conversation you might have had with any of your friends. Most likely, you might have ended up talking about what do you want next? What are you planning to get next? Today's society has just trained us on thinking that we need to get as many things as possible, as fast as possible, right? It's like a hamster in the wheel. What today's society didn't teach us, though, or forgot to teach us, is how to get there, how to get to all these things, no matter what they are, in a way where we can also enjoy them, in a way that give us also the bandwidth and the time and the opportunity to enjoy them. A hamster in the wheel keeps running and running to go somewhere, but it's not going anywhere. And that's the same feeling that we have most of the times. We're trying to get more and more and more, and then we forget about what we just got, and we try and move on and get even more and more and more, and we keep going and keep going, right? Which led me to share with you what I like to call the 3 key secrets to get all you want. So these, at least, are the 3 key secrets that work for me, and I'm pretty confident that they're going to help you as well. So the first one is actually based on a very common concept. I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have heard about the triangle of life, or triad of life, according to which life is based on 3 big verticals, which are mind, body, and spirit. You can tweak them in health, wealth, and mind. What you guys, or most of you guys, might not know, though, is that to develop this triangle of life, to live it fully, which means to have a fulfilled and happy life, the triangle needs to be equilateral, meaning all these 3 verticals need to be perfectly developed, same length. Why? Because they connect with each other. How many times have you guys, boys, even girls, met a gorgeous woman, beautiful, with an outstanding career in front of her, really smart, but for some reason keep bumping into the wrong man over and over and over and over again? How can this woman bump into the wrong man all the freaking times, right? So where is the catch? What is wrong? Where are all these connections that some people are missing? Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you guys are into workout? How many of you actually work out? I know, quite a few, right? And who can tell me one benefit or a couple of benefits of working out beyond the fact that you feel actually thinner and fitter and maybe healthier? What is it that is connected to that indirectly that you enjoy? You happy? What else? Productive. Right. Right. So what happened is that, again, school, society, and the educational system taught us to think in compartments. If you work on your wealth, you're not really working on your health. If you're working on your health, you're not really working on your mind. It's all wrong because they're all connected. So being a woman, once again, I always have been obsessed with looking good, right? And when I started working out to look good, I really hated it. I hated it so much that what I figured, I tried and figured out all the possible ways to actually get myself down to do it. And my last attempt was to outsource my workout. Exactly. So I actually hired a personal trainer to force me to get down to it and get disciplined about it. I figured that if I pay someone and I pay him well, I'm going to feel guilty if I'm not going to actually do it. How many of you guys think that actually worked? Yeah, very few of you, because it didn't work. It actually lasted for a couple of weeks and it imploded in itself, so much so that I had to fire my personal trainer. But seriously, guys, here in Malaysia, by the way. But what changed everything was my change in perspective, was started thinking that everything was connected. And this happened when I realized that by working out, I could actually be more productive. And I'm a business person, I'm a businesswoman, I have a business. Being more productive, being more in flow is one of my biggest challenges, right? Because I'm doing so many things at the same time. And when I realized that just by doing those 20 minutes every 3 days, I could actually have an impact on my business, made me realize how important that could be. And I kept doing it. So next time you're reading a book, whether it's for school or for work, don't do it because thinking that someone forced you to do it and you have to do it because you have to study. Think that in the middle of that book, you might find that single idea that might lead you to the next business launch, or if you're in a job, to the next promotion, so the next ideas, and so the next promotion. And what can you do with a promotion? You might get more money. And what can you do with more money? Well, you might get your family for a holiday, or you might enjoy a very nice night out with friends, and maybe because you are in the right mindset and mood, you might meet the person that you'll be looking for so long. Now, the triangle. Well, that's right. If you're not in the right mindset, you will keep bumping to the wrong person all over again. So see the connections. They have to be perfectly developed. But that's not enough. Why? Because society tells us that we need to get more. But it tells us also, oh, you need to get there fast as possible. Which brings me to the second point, which is how do I get there? Choosing the shortest way, the so-called critical path. Critical path is actually a concept that is mainly used in business, but it can be applied to life as well. So I figured different ways. I was wondering, how can I actually get there? How can I develop those 3 verticals of the triangle in the fastest way? And I figured that the most efficient way to do so, it's actually almost the most obvious, but most difficult to do, which is learning from people who have already developed that specific vertical that you haven't developed, whether it's wealth, health, or mind. Why is it so difficult to learn from others? Way more difficult than it seems. Because every time we approach someone to learn something, our brain triggers this so-called comparison process. We start comparing ourselves to whoever we have in front of us. And there are 2 kinds of comparisons that you really want to avoid with all your forces and which will always come in your way. One is actually represented by the image on the right. So pretend you are the pink circle in the middle, and you approach someone to learn something from that person, and then you realize that that person hasn't really developed something that you have developed as well. And you start gloating, and you start thinking, hey, I'm actually much better than this person. Maybe I don't even have to learn anything from this person. We start, feeling bigger. And we forget about everything that we can possibly learn from that person. Let's say you're talking to a business person, to a businessman, which is huge and obese. And you're like, oh, I am much better. I'm not going to learn from this person any business. No, wrong. But that's before going into what's right. There is another way of comparison which is very dangerous, which is the opposite way. The second image on the left has you feeling way smaller because you're approaching someone and you might feeling, oh, that person is such at a high level, that person is never going to talk to me. And you start feeling like, let's assume that this person actually is way more successful than you, maybe has a different education, but got where you want to be way faster. And you start feeling smaller and smaller, and you feel like, damn, you feel like a piece of small, tiny shit surrounded by genius giants, right? Well, let me tell you one thing. They're the same size. You are the freaking same size. Those balls right there are the same that are up there. It's a mind trick. It's seriously a mind trick. So next time you're approaching someone to learn something, and you find yourself comparing in any of these above ways, stop. Laugh at yourself. Step back and think that you want to figure out how that person developed a specific vertical of the triangle that you haven't developed, whether it's wealth, health, or mind. And that same person might learn from you to develop another vertical of the triangle that you have developed better. Okay? So we've talked about the triangle of life. We've talked about how to actually get there fast. But there is a third point that you need to keep in mind when it comes to get a fulfilled, happy, and balanced life, which are the so-called 4 seasons of life. And I'm not talking about age, biological age kind of seasons. I'm talking about up and downs that life will always bring, even if you are the most passionate and determined and smart person in this planet. Now, imagine for a second you are a farmer. And please, even people who are from Malaysia, think about the 4 seasons: autumn, winter, summer, spring. The real seasons. I mean, the European season, whatever season, so the 4 seasons. So think about you're a farmer, and your life is depending only on the soil and the crop that that soil is going to actually give you. Which one, who can tell me which one is the most important season for the farmer? Is it winter? Is it autumn? Is it summer or is it spring? Which one? How many spring? It's not spring. It's not autumn. Yes, it's winter. Why? It's very easy. It sounds and it looks like the most unfavorable season, but at the end of the day, without winter, there is nothing else. Why? Because during winter, the soil gets enriched again, get the mineral back. It is in winter that the soil rests and allow you to plant what you want to plant in the spring and then cut the crop in the summer. And that life is working the same way. So every time you feel stuck in any of the verticals of the triangle, don't get angry at yourself. Don't get frustrated. Maybe it's just winter, and winter shall pass. Will pass, for sure. All you have to think about is how can you rest and zoom out and think, okay, what can I plan in order to do better as soon as spring starts? And what can I do in spring in order to actually cut the crop that I want to crop in summer? So it sounds very obvious, but we all know it's not. We get frustrated, we get anxious, and we shouldn't. We should understand that up and downs are absolutely fine. All we need to know is keep our balance and understand which season we are in that time. So next time you're stuck at work, maybe it's just winter. So think about what's the next book you want to read. Think about what's the next idea you wanna try and come up with. Think about a business coach. That's a solution for winter because you rest, you just hear someone talking, and you get new ideas out of there. So it's pretty efficient. So after talking about these 3 major points, I'm going to leave you with one single note, which is very important to me and somehow summarizes everything that I just told you. So a lot of authors, a lot of books says this thing, that no matter what is our job, it doesn't matter who we are, what are we doing, what's our plan, what's our goal. The most important mission of us all is actually to be the best version of ourselves in everything we do. It doesn't matter how hard it is and when we will get there. As long as you give your best, you are trying to be the best version of yourself. Why is this so important? Because only when you are the best version of yourself, you can actually become an example for others. You can actually leave the triangle and show other people how to leave the same triangle in the same fast way. And at the same time, you can lead by example. So I'm going to leave you with an open question, which I hope it's going to make you think a little bit. Are you being the best version of yourself in all the verticals of the triangle? Thank you.